This exercise is meant to show you some methods of bridging the gap between using traditional media such as drawing and sketching and bringing it into Photoshop to add some digital elements. Before we begin, you're going to be creating a simple drawing or a sketch. Now, to make things simpler, I've given you a print off in class of a flower or some sort of flowery design. I've also given you a set of tracing paper. During class time, take a minute to print off and trace off one of the flowers, and when you do this, you can add some basic details, specifically outline all of the major elements, as well as add in some basic shading and highlights, but it doesn't have to look photorealistic. Once you've finished with your sketch, use your camera on your phone, or you can connect a scanner to take a photograph and get a digital version of your illustration. Use this digital version to bring it to your computer and open it up into Photoshop. One of the first things that we need to do once you bring it into Photoshop is to crop it down so that we just see the image by itself. In order to do this, let's go over to our tool panel and locate the crop tool. With the crop tool selected, do make sure that the settings at the top are set to ratio, and we can clear away any numbers that may be in here. From here, we're just going to simply select the given area, and then we'll hit return to lock it in, and we'll keep the original crop that we've got from here. This gets rid of all unnecessary bits around the edges. Now that it's cropped, we can go ahead and save our document. So I'm going to go up to File and do a Save, and we'll simply replace the image that I've already got created from this. We can now close it out. The next thing that we can do is to create our new blank document. So in Photoshop, I'm going to go up to File and down to New. The size of our document needs to be measured in inches, so it's going to be 8 inches wide and 10 inches tall. The resolution needs to be 300 pixels per inch, and we're always going to work in RGB color mode. Everything else will be exactly the same, and we can say Create. We can place our image by going up to File and down to Place Embedded. You can locate where you have it saved. In my case, I've got it in my Downloads folder, and I'm simply going to choose the picture that I've got. When we hit Place, this will ask us to resize it or to scale it to fit. If necessary, you can make it larger or smaller. As long as we can fill in the area, that looks good from there. Another thing we can do once we've placed our image is adjust the contrast of it so that the picture pops just a little bit more. This typically happens if you take a photograph of whatever that you're working on. If you did a scan or if you took a photo scan, typically you would have the background nice and crisp and white. You can see mine's got a little bit of gray and it's got a little bit of texture. To get rid of some of this gray and texture, we can go to our Adjustments panel and we can add a couple of adjustments. I like to use the single adjustments, and the type of adjustment that we can start off with will be a levels adjustment. When you do the levels adjustment, this is going to add a new layer at the top of your layers panel, and all of the properties for this levels adjustment can be found up here. I'm going to move my layers side by side so you can see it. So with it selected, if I was to click on the black arrow in the properties panel and move it over, this is going to make my darks much darker, and it's going to let the dark lines really pop out. If I wanted to make the lighter areas lighter, choose the white arrow and move it inward. Now, of course, the more you move it in, the more it's going to start to blow out your image. So it's a good balance that we're trying to look for, and that looks pretty good from there. Finally, the middle arrow is our midtones, and this is where we can click our slider and readjust it until we get something that we like. Now, a final thing you can do in order to clean up the speckles along the outer edge is to dodge or burn them away. Dodging and burning is a way of lightening and darkening different specific areas. There is a tool towards the bottom of your tool panel. It's called the Dodge tool, and if you click the O key, you'll be able to find it. This works very similar to a brush. So if we go up to the very top, and you can set the size of your brush, but when you select the image area, so in this case I've got the image layer selected, we need to rasterize this in order to use this tool. Notice how it's not letting me click. If I click once, it's going to give me a warning saying, hey, got to rasterize this. So let's say OK to it. Now I can see the size of my brush. I'm going to set my brush to be a little bit smaller than I have. Just depends on the size that you need. In my case, around 300 to 500 seems to be good. I'm going to keep the hardness down to 0. The dodge tool works by lightening up areas. I'm going to set my range to be the highlights, and exposure for now, we'll keep it at 50%. You can see with this, when I click and drag, how that easily clears up all of that lighter area. If necessary, you can make the brush smaller or larger to readjust as needed. Additionally, we can play around with the exposure to make it not so quickly go away. So maybe I'll pull mine up to closer to 20-25%. This really does a good job of getting it. Sometimes you have to work at some of the harder spots, especially if it's a darker area. But adjusting the exposure is how you can best change this and directly affect it without actually getting rid of any details that may be part of your drawing. The other thing you can do is you can also use the eraser tool to erase away any parts that are not necessary. For the sake of time, I'm going to quickly just kind of hit this, go into some of the details. I want to get rid of this part down here. So the eraser tool, it's hiding underneath here. With the eraser tool, again, I'm going to choose a simple general brush. It's just soft and round. And with it, I can click and drag and erase away any parts that I don't need. All right. Now that we've got this cleaned up, let's talk about adding some color to it. I'm going to select my topmost layer and create a new blank layer. This will be my color layer. Now, colors work by painting whatever we want inside of this area and blending it with what's below. In order to see what we're painting, I'm going to choose my paintbrush tool. And for the sake of this one, I'm simply going to use a soft, round brush. This is found under my general brushes up here. You can play around with some of the other ones. But with a soft, round brush, I can go over to my color picker, and I'm going to set my color picker up here to be my color wheel. The color wheel is kind of just a great way to visually see where everything is in relation to each other. Now, if I want to paint this a specific color, I can go in, I can zoom into whatever part of the petal, and I can start to paint it. Now, if you're working in normal blending mode, this can be found in your layers panel, and you can see the word normal with the color layer selected. This is going to normally cover up whatever pixels are below it. But if we change it over to multiply, you can see how it's starting to really blend in. So multiply gives you the ability of painting whatever color you have, and wherever there's lighter pixels, it's going to use those pixels to add the color to it. I'm going to take just a moment and go through and colorize all of my different parts to this. Now that I've got a base layer of color down, let's talk about ways we can blend these colors together. Let's say I wanted these petals not to be just a single tone of orange, but actually add some yellow and maybe some red inside of different parts to it. I've still got this layer selected. I can choose my brush tool, and instead of working with a soft edge brush, so I've got the hardness pulled down to 0, with a opacity of 100%, I'm going to bring my opacity down to about 10 to 20%. There's really no sacred number, but I can set that up to be there. Now, if I wanted to add some red to an area, I'm going to pull in a slightly darker bit of red, and then I can go in, and because I'm working at a lower opacity, I can slowly build up the red inside of here. Now, if you want, you can play around with how quick it's going to blend based on the opacity. Let's make it even more red. Pull that down. Now it's looking really good. But because I don't have a 100% red, this gives me a lot more control to blend in an area without going too far. So it's almost like having a watercolor type of effect. This will work for any color that you have. You can see now how I add more layers to it, and that brighter red now really starts to pop out. Because we're simply painting on a different layer at any time, if I make a mistake, I can always go back and repaint over this or grab my eraser tool, and I haven't lost any of my original image. It's all just on one single layer. Once this is done, let's add some yellow to my design. So I'm grabbing yellow. Again, I'm working at a lower opacity, and I'm finding some little areas that I could add a highlight of yellow to. Can even add yellow into the stem. So if I wanted that to be a highlight, maybe even make it a little bit lighter. Go down here and add a little bit of highlights to it. Again, I'm not looking for this to be photorealistic. Yours can have more or less detail. If I wanted to add some shading to the green, I'm going to pull it over. Maybe in this case, I'll do more of a bluish style green. We'll add some shadows to one edge. All right. Once you've finished colorizing your flower, all these layers are nice and saved. Let's go up to File and Save the Photoshop document. So File and Save. In our case, make sure you know where it's being saved to. We're going to call this our sketch flower. Make sure you put your name inside of the file itself so that when you upload it or turn it in, we'll know whose is whose. And then finally, the format is going to be set to Photoshop. Photoshop format allows you to save all of the layers within this. So at any time you can go back and re-edit. Once you're completely finished, the last thing we need to do is to also save this as a JPEG. So go to File. This time we're going to save it as a copy. We can keep the same name. You can actually get rid of the word copy. The only difference is change your format from Photoshop to be a JPEG. When you click Save, it's going to ask you for your JPEG options. We're going to keep it as the highest quality and say OK. Upload this JPEG to the class page for your exercise grade.